Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I hope you're
Good
having
evening.
a good Friday. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
yes, we can.
Great. Lovely to see you all. Happy Friday, happy good weekend. And we are very happy that we have this session today. My name is Aurelia Munene. I'm the founder of Eider Africa, which is the organization that runs the Journal Club. And today we are doing one amazing event with TCC Africa Training Center in Communication, because we have a partnership to support upcoming researchers. And today we are going to talk about a very important topic that has been disturbing many members in the club, and they would like to publish, they would like to engage in knowledge production, but sometimes we do not know where to publish. And today, TCC Africa, through Joy Owango, who is the co-founder and director, is going to take us through very hands-on skills on how to look for that journal and how to make sure that journal is credible, and some of the dynamics that come in when you want to publish. Do you need to pay? She'll teach us the tips and tricks around that, especially for us who are based in Africa, who sometimes some of these publication systems are very difficult to access. So in the Journal Club, we also have a Journal Club thematic group, which we have formed to specifically support people who want to publish. So that's the group that has also brought us here today. So now, without further ado, let me invite Joy. Joy, karibu sana. Please introduce yourself in the might and breadth of who you are. She's an amazing leader. And then we can now have the discussions. Karibu.
Okay. Thank you so much, Aurelia. My name is Joy Owango. I'm the Executive Director of the Training Center in Communication, and we are based at the University of Nairobi. That is at the College of Biological and Physical Sciences called Chiroma Campus. And we've been supporting researchers for over 15 years on how they can improve their research output and increase their visibility. And this is through scholarly and science communication training. So what I'm going to take you through is part of our scholarly communication training, and that is on journal selection strategy, which is always a huge challenge for researchers, because trying to figure out where you want to publish is a big problem. And it is a make or break on how your work is either going to be visible, on whether your work is going to be visible or not. And without further ado, I am going to take you through the process of journal selection strategy. But what I'm going to do is share with you my screen, and I'll make it a bit hands-on, so feel free to ask any question. We will use some of your examples, your research topics, so that you can see where you can publish. And then one of the things we'll need to find out is, because Kenya is a Research for Life country, I need you to put the institutes that you belong to in the chat. And then I would like to find out if you have access to Research for Life solutions in your university. So if you can begin, as I'm preparing to share, if as we are beginning, could you put in the chat whether you, could you put in the name of your institute? That will give me context on how, okay, University of Nairobi, where else? I need to see more of the, I'll need to see more of your institutes. Please share with them. Please share them. Kisii University, fantastic, okay. UON, another one. Checking the chat. There's UON, Kisii. Who else? Which other institutes are represented here? USIU Africa. Okay, okay, okay. Who else? Let's see, I'm looking at the chat. UON, anyone else? Any other university which is Maseno? Good. Another one? Okay, so we can start with those. Let's see. World Kant University. Is that's not in Kenya, David? David, you could open your mic. David, are you still there?
It's not in Kenya.
Where is it based?
It's in the US.
Okay, that one for sure you have these resources. So, but I'll still show you how you can still take advantage of them. So anyone else from the Global South? Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, so I will work with what has been shared. So that is UON, KISI, and USIU. Now, it's not the first time I've made such a presentation, mainly because it's needed. It never gets tiring to talk about this topic because it comes up every single time. Now, the reason why I asked which universities you belonged to is because you have, if you go to your libraries, how many of you are familiar with Research for Life? Hands up in the chat. Yes, no, how many are familiar with Research for Life? You can use the emoji. No one? None is familiar with Research for Life. Okay, now if you go to your library, if you access your library, you will see Research for Life. Okay, if you go to your university library, when you go to your university library, there is a Research for Life portal. Or better, so it's a good thing you gave me your name. So those of you who are in the University of Nairobi, please reach out to Dr. Rosemary Otando. She's your librarian. She's in charge of, she's the deputy director of the library services, but she focuses on open access. Okay. When you go to your librarian, ask her for the Research for Life login. Each university, the ones that have been mentioned, USIU, KISI University, and University of Nairobi, they have these login details. And the reason why I'm telling you that is because the demonstration I'm going to take you through, especially on dimensions, is heavily reliant on you having access to that. For sure, within your universities, you do have access to it. But then I'll also share with you the option when you're not registered in, when you're not going through the university, but still able to access these resources so that you can have other ways on accessing, of doing your general selection strategy. So you want to publish. What's next? As I said earlier on, we've been in existence for 15 years. Since our partnership with Eider Africa, our mentorship group ballooned. So we are over 900 community members. So that is in collaboration with Eider Africa. And now we are represented in 2 continents. And what we're doing, this workshop we're taking you through is part of that mentorship bit, whereby we are taking you through the journal selection strategy. These are processes that you may or may not go through in your respective university. So we want to make you a bit smart about how you select journals when you're how to identify journals that you intend to publish in based on your research area. So we've been in existence for 15 years, and we've trained in over 40 countries, and we've trained over 8,000 researchers. That includes you as well. So with the objective of training, supporting, and empowering, it's what we're trying to do right now. You've been trained by us, but then the empowering bit and the support bit comes through this mentorship process. Now, one of the things you need to be aware before we get into the general selection strategy, you need to understand what the trends are in research visibility, which have a strong correlation in the general selection strategy that you're going to make. The rise of indices that measure performance of researchers has come up to the point that if you don't publish in a good quality journal, nobody can see your work. You see, nobody can see your work. So for example, the rise of the H index, which is primarily done to measure your performance as a researcher based on the number of times you're cited is highly based on the visibility of your work, whether you published in a preprint which was easily accessible, or you published in a journal that is easily accessible. Hence, the journal selection strategy is extremely important. So various places where you can get your H index, you can get it from Google Scholar, you can get it from ResearchGate. Okay, so these are the metrics that you can see coming out from Google Scholar. And I'm sure by now, for those of you who are in University of Nairobi, by now, I'm sure you've been told that it is mandatory for you to have a Google Scholar account. The main reason for that is that they just want to see your research performance, and they want to see where you're publishing. They want to see who's citing your work. And this comes down, the root process of this comes from the journal selection strategy. There's also Researcher ID, which is owned by Clarivate Analytics. So these are other platforms that produce H indices. And trust me, at the end of the day, when you look at the root process it's come down to where you have to publish, because this will be a reflection, the H index will be a reflection of where you published. Okay, so there's ORCID. So most of you have ORCID accounts or ORCID IDs. So it is really important that you have ORCID IDs, because this will also help in increasing your research visibility. So we're not going to talk about being a peer reviewer, because our focus is on journal selection strategy, but there are so many solutions that exist that can support you on how to become a better reviewer. Now, and some of these solutions include Publons, because this solution helps you connect with other reviewers, and publishers can easily also connect with you. And this is also free. Okay. So now, the process of journal selection strategy stems from two types of databases: citation databases. Okay, somebody has asked, what is an H index and what is an ORCID ID? So let me go back. I don't mind going back, so feel free to ask these questions. Okay, I don't mind going back. Remember, it is just, we are a small group and we can continue doing this. So ORCID, where was I? H index. Let's start with that. Now, H index measures your performance as a researcher. Okay, so if you have an H index of say 10, it means 10 of your papers have been published more than 10 times. So if you have an H index of 20, it means of all your papers, 20 of them have been cited more than 20 times. So the higher your H index, the better, the more influential you are. The power about this, it comes down from where you publish. All right, where you publish. If you publish in a good quality journal, in a visible and an accessible journal, your H index increases because it is easy to cite you. I hope I've answered the issue regarding an H index. An ORCID ID. So we've talked about the H index. And as I'd said, there are various platforms that produce H index. So you have Google Scholar, you have ResearchGate, then you also have Researcher ID. Remember, the H index is unique to the platform that produces that H index. So Researcher's ID's numbers are different than Google Scholar or ResearchGate. ORCID. ORCID is a unique identifier. So let me take you through how it works. When you're looking at ORCID, when you're publishing your manuscript, you normally follow the instructions to authors. So in my case, it's Joy Owango. So in some journals, it will be owango.joy. In some journals, it will be J Owango or Joy Owango. So what ORCID does is that disambiguates all this into a unique number. And the beauty about that, it becomes your CV online. It becomes your CV online, and anybody can search for you using that CV. Okay, so all you need is a link, and you put all your publications, all your grants, every single research output you've ever done, you put it in your ORCID ID, and it's updated so that anybody can just click the link and access all your outputs. So I hope I've answered those two questions. Now, the journal selection strategy is based on the existence of citation and bibliographic databases. Now let's start with citation databases. Citation databases, I will define them. Let me not define it yet now, but let me give you there's a difference right now when it comes to citation databases. There are some that are paywalled and those that are open access. Paywall, you have to pay for them. So Web of Science, Scopus, Science Direct, those are all paid for. You need to buy them. And those are very expensive. Then you have open access ones. So you have Dimensions, you have Lens. Microsoft Academic, unfortunately, they stopped producing their outputs, but then you can get the same from the Lens or Dimensions. So my demonstration will be on Dimensions. Then you have bibliographic databases. Then I'll give you the definition of the two, the difference between the two. The bibliographic databases, where you can, these are databases that you can do your journal selection strategies, citation databases and bibliographic databases. So with the bibliographic database, you can get information from African Journals Online, Direct of Open Access Journals, Core, Science Open, and Meta, and the list is endless. And I'll share with you from our website the entire list of some of these bibliographic databases that you could take advantage of. Now, what's the difference between a bibliographic database and a citation database? A bibliographic database collates all bibliographic information of research produced. Okay, as I've said, AJOL, DOAJ, these are bibliographic databases. A citation database goes one step ahead and starts collating citation analysis. So you can get citations, you can get citation history, so you can end up doing a whole citation analysis of whatever you're searching. At the end of the day, it's always easier to use a citation database. What do I mean by bibliographic? I'm going to show you when you're going through the demonstration. I'll share with you what bibliographic information means. So the citation analysis, you'll end up seeing the history of the performance of this journal, the number of times it has been cited, how influential this journal is, and that will help you make a decision on when and whether you want to choose some of those articles to publish, to cite. But at the same time, it also connects you to the journals where that paper came from, or that bibliographic information came from. And this is very important when it comes to your journal selection strategy, because in a citation database, which is better than a bibliographic database, is all you need to do is search by topic, and you'll get the list of all. 1 second. Sorry about that. So you're going to get, as I was saying, you're going to get an update of all the journals based on your topic search. And it can show you the ones which are open access, the ones which are not open access. It can also show you the performance of those journals as well, depending on the database. So these are the things that I want to take you through in our demonstration so that you can understand what the difference is between a citation and a bibliographic database and how they can help you in your journal selection strategy. It can be very granular to the point that you can search by your topic search and the journals and the papers that have been accepted in your topic in your country or even in your institute. And that is why, for those of you, that is why I was saying, if you go to your librarian, they should be able to give you the Research for Life login details. Then you'll have access to these databases that I'm sharing with you. Okay, now, so here we go. So some of the trends in academic publishing is the rise of preprints. Preprints are actually, they're instrumental in your journal selection strategy, because preprints, when you're going through your, so hold on, before I go to the preprints, there's a question that, what are some of the factors that make one publisher reject certain work of scholars but is accepted by another publisher? Chances are high, first of all, when you're looking at, don't look at publishers, because the publisher is the umbrella body, okay? Look at the journal. So let's say, for example, Elsevier is a publisher, Taylor and Francis is a publisher. So the publisher did not refuse to accept your work. It is the journal that is produced by the publisher. So your question, Obadiah, should be, why is it sometimes that other journals refuse to accept my manuscript, but then others would accept it? So in answer to that question is that you need to look at the masthead of those journals. Look at, what do those journals accept? Let's start from there. All right. And the other thing is, the journals will also try to figure out if you're bringing in new information to that journal. And sometimes as a writer, you need to pitch to some of these journal editors and tell them what makes your manuscript unique, what value you're going to add to that journal. Okay, so it's always a variety of factors, and the worst case is that your work, your science is not sound, but most of the time is that maybe what you're submitting to them is not in line with what they publish, or maybe they don't see that you're adding new information to them. Okay, I hope I've answered your question, Obadiah. Now, the next one is the trends in academic publishing, preprints. Now, when you're going through your academic publishing process, you will need to work with preprints, because preprints help in increasing the visibility of your work. They also help in your journal selection strategy. The first thing you need to understand is this is how a preprint works. So when you're submitting your manuscript to an editor or to a journal editor, you can put it through a preprint server, and then the world starts seeing it. It starts getting citations, it starts getting downloads, it starts also getting peer review. It will get open access peer review as you're going through existing peer review from the journal that you have, that you've identified, or the journal that you've submitted your paper, your manuscript. And the beauty about working with preprints is that the beauty about working with preprints is that they are working closely with publishers. So you need to find out from publishers, whether they are working with preprint repositories. If they are working with preprint repositories, what does this mean? It means that the world starts seeing your work. The world starts seeing your work. And this is extremely important. This is extremely important because it increases your visibility. And journals that work with preprint repositories tend to be journals that are already indexed. So it's all about playing with numbers in increasing your visibility. So we have a preprint repository in Africa, and that is called AfricArXiv. Okay, so take advantage of AfricArXiv to publish, to put in your manuscript as you're going through your journal selection strategy. So what that means is that the world will start seeing your manuscript as you're looking for a place to publish your work. Okay, the main thing is visibility. That's what we're trying to work on. Okay, so we have in Kenya, in Africa, we have in Africa we have two types of open access platform publishing repositories. So there's the AAS Open Research, which is only for Africa Academy of Science Fellows, and then we have AfricArXiv, which I've shared with you. Okay? So please take advantage for AfricArXiv because it is open to all Africans. It's also open for those who are not, for non-Africans, but they're doing research in and or about Africa. Okay. So I talked about the preprint. It helps in increasing your credibility, it helps in increasing your visibility, and you also start getting reviews. Your work starts being reviewed as well. So it's a double review. So you've got the blind review with the journal, and then you've got this other open access review with the open access review with the preprint repository. So it is a benefit to you as well. So this is AfricArXiv. So feel free to please sign up and start submitting your preprints. And one of the most exciting news that we've got today is that AfricArXiv has been indexed in Dimensions. And Dimensions is an international citation database. So immediately, so what does this mean? Immediately your paper is put in AfricArXiv, the whole world sees it. The whole world sees it. So it means that anybody is searching on research output on Kenya, your work is seen. So the increase in visibility is extremely important. And it also means that you can pitch. You can also pitch to editors, journal editors, if you want them to accept your manuscript. You say you're going to put it through a preprint repository. It's also going to start increasing visibility. It is going to start, your paper is going to start being seen, and it's also going to go through review as they are going through their own blind review. And the reality is most editors will listen to you because remember, journal selection strategy, think of it like a business. You want a good journal to publish your work so that people can see your work. So I've seen a question on reviewing of a preprint. How do you get feedback? The feedback is normally real time. How do you get feedback on preprint reviews? It is normally real time. It's normally real time through the preprint repository servers and the reviewers within the servers, the preprint repository server. a preprint. So I'll explain again what a preprint is. When you're publishing, when you're going through your journal selection strategy, the first thing you're going to do is take your manuscript to Journal A, Journal B, to Journal A for submission. During that entire period, nobody can see your work. So what happens is that preprint repositories were created whereby you put in your manuscript in that repository. Then it is no longer called a manuscript, it's called a preprint. And the world starts seeing your work. They can cite your work, they then download your work, and they can start reviewing your work. When you cite a preprint in your paper, you will cite it as a preprint, okay? You will cite it as a preprint. And once it is accepted in a paper, it will be changed into a postprint. Don't worry, those who work in the preprint repositories do that work. So they do that, so they change it into a postprint. Since everything is done digitally, you're going to see this also online. Okay? I hope I've answered your question. Okay, so, all right, so here we go. So this is an example of a submitted preprint. All right, here we go. So the focus of what we are going to talk on, which is connected to what we've just discussed. How to identify journals to publish in, how to mitigate predatory publishing. Basically, it's your journal selection strategy. I've made it clear that in order to come this far, you need to understand that it is connected with your visibility as a researcher. So let's assume you've got a wide range of journals that you intend to publish in. These are the things you need to look out for before you publish in them. The circulation, how far and wide are these journals? Okay. The acceptance rate, sometimes is it low, is it high? Okay, and if it is high, you need to be also cautious. It's not an issue for you to get excited. You ask yourself why. So you dig in further. Chances are high, they're just accepting anything, but you need to be very careful. If the acceptance rate is low, you need to find out also why. Maybe they've got more rigorous process, or they are very specific about what they accept. You need to know who the editorial team board is, not personally, but you need to know, are they well known? When was the last time they published? Okay, are they well cited? These are people you need to be very careful about, especially if these are new journals you intend to publish in. The citation, so the part that you need to be worried, you should not worry, don't worry about this, the citation index and the half-life, but you need to be worried about the impact factor. Okay, so some of these journals that already index, they need to have an impact factor or a site score. The impact factor belongs to Clarivate Analytics, and then site score belongs to Elsevier. I'm putting that in the chat. Elsevier. Okay. Impact factor belongs to Clarivate Analytics. Now, the beauty about this is that when a journal tells you that they have an impact factor, okay, you need to ask them, which one do you have? Because there are only 2 organizations in the world that produce this. So there's the Journal Impact Factor by Clarivate Analytics. They might also go on granular on you and tell you, oh, it is one which is owned by, that is produced by the Journal Citation Reports. Yes, it is the Journal Citation Reports that creates the Journal Impact Factor. And Site Score, which is produced by Elsevier. So the Journal Impact Factor comes out in 2 ways, every 2 years and every 5 years. So it measures the performance of the journal every 2 years and sometimes every 5 years. Site Score comes out every 3 years. So that is just the difference, but the formula of getting the information is the same. So always ask that. So don't fall for any impact factor. You need to ask either of those 2. Okay, so it's either Site Score or Journal Impact Factor. Those are the 2 companies in the world that are supposed to produce this. And the editor, if you're identifying a journal, the editor will be quick to share with you that information and those details. Okay. Going through your journal selection strategy, go through this website, think, check, and submit. All right. It helps you critically go through the journals you've identified. So this is a website, just go to think, check, and submit, and it is literally a hands-on website. So it will make you critically look at the journals you've identified, you check through them, and then you can submit whether you can publish in those journals or not. They also have a list of journals that they work with where you can also publish in as well. Now we are going local. So you can go to the University of Nairobi library. Okay, I'm going to share with you this note. Don't worry, you're going to get it on in the chat. And the beauty about this, it takes you through the process of mitigating predatory publishing. It's an entire microsite on that. All right, it's extremely important to go through it. It is very, very clear, but then they've gone one step ahead further, and they have created a database where you can identify journals by subject area. It is alphabetic. It's called Schimago. So you see, it is. See that? It's Schimago. So once you go to this link, you'll get everything about mitigating predatory publishing. Then you click on Schimago, then you'll come here. You can search for the journals. Here you go. Either open access journals or journals which are in Web of Science or journals that are in Cielo. Okay. And then it gives you journals by all types of journals per region, and also how it also gives you journals per year when they were produced. So how often they are produced. So it's for you to choose how far and wide you want to choose your journals. So publishers are increasingly looking at innovative ways to identify on how to support you in your journal selection strategy. So if you know the publisher that you're interested in working with, so you say it is Elsevier. If it is, you have Elsevier, then you have, who else? Taylor and Francis, plus you name it. If you have journals that you're interested, publishers you're interested to work with, they tend to have some of these platforms, journal finders. And this is artificial intelligence in support in journal selection strategy. And when you just click on journal finder for Elsevier, or you can just click journal finder, Taylor and Francis, journal finder, pick the publisher, and then it will give you a link that the templates tend to be the same, where you can put your title, your abstract, and then it gives you a list of journals. But remember, they're only journals unique to that platform, to that publisher. Endnote.com, if you have access to EndNote, that is my EndNote, the online version. It's the same process. It's a reference management solution. Once you've registered into it, the same process, go to Match, okay? Put in your title and your abstract, and then it will give you the list of all the journals that you can publish in. Okay, so this one is straight to the mark. So it uses the algorithm from your abstract to help you choose the journals that you intend to publish in. Now, I want to take you through these demonstrations on Journal Finder, EndNote Web, and Dimensions. So far, are there any questions? Are there any questions? Cool. So now, let's start with our website. So, as you can see, this is the TCC Africa website, and we put a myriad of, if you go to that link, it will take you straight to the journals. Okay, first of all, here we go. I hope you can see that. So it takes, if you go to the resource page, okay, if you go to the resource page, you'll get a list of all the repositories that we work with. But then you can refine it further by open access research discovery solutions, okay? When you go, or journal selection strategy, so any of the two can help. So if you go to open access research discovery solutions, this is where you get all these repositories, okay? Some of them, as you can see, there's Cielo. This is for Southern Africa and Latin America. These are bibliographic database, and these are all free. Then there's ArXiv. There's the Open Research Library. These are for those who are in the social sciences, and this is just books. Then you've got Dimensions, you've got Science Open, you've got the Lens. These are all bibliographic databases you can play around with. There's Meta for those who are in the biomedical health research areas. Then you have Core. So all these are bibliographic databases. Out of this, Dimensions is the citation database. So I'm going to show you the difference between a citation database and a bibliographic database so that you can see how you can benefit from either of them. So if you go to any of these, all you need to do is click onto any of them and do your research discovery, do your topic search, and you'll be able to get the journals that you intend to publish in. So out of this, I'm going to use the example of dimensions. So the other thing I'm going to take you through is DOAJ. Okay. Right. So remember I told you about the Directory of Open Access Journals. It's a bibliographic database. Are you able to see that? I hope you can see that. All right. Now, so the DOAJ is a bibliographic database. All you need to do is search by topic, and then you're going to get your journals. So just pick, so you can search by journal if you know the name of the journal, or you can search by topic. All right. So it will not give you the name. Let's do the search to begin with. So let's say malaria. All right. So out of malaria, you can see all the publications. There are over 20,000 indexed articles. And then you can see the journals. Are you seeing this? All right. You can see the journal. Are you seeing? So, but you can see it's a bibliographic database. So when I say somebody had asked, what is bibliographic information? You see this, the title, the keywords, the names of the person, sometimes the abstract, or in some databases, the full text. That is bibliographic information. Now, this is just bibliographic information. It doesn't have citation information. So we'll come to the citation information. I hope I've answered that question. Now, the next stop is the University of Nairobi. Okay, so sharing again. Here we go, University of Nairobi. And I hope you can see that. And this is, I'm putting it in the chat. So those of you who are in the University of Nairobi, or even from outside, you can take advantage of this. All right. So this is the University of Nairobi Library. Just focusing on publishing. The library is so extensive, but focusing on publishing and journal selection strategy. So this is it. Okay, as you can see, Schemago, this is what I was telling you about. It is going to open. As you can see, you can publish in any of these platforms. Okay, these are the open access publishers that you can work with. So here we go. As you can see, these are the topics, what do you call it? The journal, the subject areas, and the link to the journals. So they've done one step, they've gone one step ahead to help you. So you're looking at about 57 subject categories. Okay. So all you need to do, let's say if you're in accounting, you just click on that and you'll get all the journals on accounting through Schemago. So they've done the work. So instead of you going here, okay, instead of you going here, they've done it themselves. All right. So here from here you could either search by journal, that is if you knew the name of the journal, or let's say this is mostly for journals. So here we go. So if you know the name of the journal, that is what would help. But then what they've done is that they've come here. Hold on. There we go. Remember on accounting, these are all the journals on accounting. Are you seeing that? All right. So, and then it also shows the number of citations. So it gives the citation information about this journal and where it belongs, where this journal comes from. Okay, and it also shows the number of documents it has accepted in 2020. So we are looking at last year, and also the number of total documents it has accepted over the years. All right. So it gives you all the information that you may need about the journals. So see, look at all subject areas. So it's for you to pick. Just pick the subject area and there you go. Okay. But they are really broad. These are very broad. So we want to narrow down to your topic areas. So are you able to see dimensions? Say yes or no. Are you able to see dimensions?
Yes, we can see it.
Super. Now, I'm going to show you two types of dimensions. Number one, the one where you get it through the University of Nairobi, and this is the one I'm talking about. Not the University of Nairobi, the one you get through Research for Life. So please ask your librarian. You need your Research for Life access. Then once you get it through Research for Life, then we can even organize, since we are working closely with Eider Africa, we can organize another training to help you. But worst case scenario, reach out to me. I will share with you how to access it, okay? Once you've had the login details for Research for Life, because I assure you it makes a big difference. Actually, let me start with the one without Research for Life, so you understand what a difference it makes in accessing this information. So dimensions.ai. So here we are. Just 1 second, it is opening. So once that is up, I need you to see the difference so that you'll see why it is really important for you to reach out to your librarian. These librarians they're a wealth of knowledge. Okay, there we go. So this is the one without Research for Life. So it's just the basic dimensions. It will help you with the journal selection. It will help you with the research discovery and journal selection strategy, but it won't be as refined as when you're doing your research discovery or journal selection strategy with the one through Research for Life. Okay, so again, just go online. You'll be able to click on that, then you get the data. Okay, so you see, you're getting the data, but the information is less. So these are the things I need you to start seeing the difference. First of all, the filter options are less. Okay, the filter options are less. So if you have a topic search, give me a topic search. So I'll just use malaria. Okay. So as much as the fact that you're seeing it's a lot of data, you realize that you're just getting global data. It's not easy to make it as granular as possible as national data or institutional data, which will be really important to you. So you have the research categories, which you can choose from. You can pick up the top researchers. As you can see, Kenya is represented by Kevin Marsh. You can choose the publication types, okay? If you want to do your research discovery, maybe you want to just narrow down to articles, okay? Then you can get your source titles. Remember, this is still global, okay? It is still global. You can choose, so based on malaria, you can choose this, all right? You can choose whether it is open access or not. Now, let's say if you want to say malaria Kenya, it's still not good enough, all right? It's still not good enough because you can still get, it is not refined. The information is not refined. It is good for research discovery, but it is not refined enough to help you with your journal selection strategy. This is why we are saying that you really need to ask your librarian to give you the university's Research for Life login details. And then, what I'll do is that I'll show you also one which because I have the login details for one of the universities for Research for Life, so that you can see how it works as well. So you see, source title. Hold on, let it open. Okay, but it's still not as refined. So now let us go through the other process. I'll stop sharing as I prepare to take you through the process of accessing it through Research for Life. In the meantime, are there any questions or comments? Is everything clear? Everything is clear? I'm assuming everything is clear.
Yes.
Good. All right. Okay. All right. It's still opening. There we
Allow
go.
me to ask you a question.
Yes.
I've been trying to get articles that I can read, and there was a time the first time I heard you talk about dimensions, I could access the articles just by clicking dimensions. But nowadays, it's like I realize I'm getting articles like the ones, the information that you have just shown us. In other words, like I can't get the current studies and I can't access the full article or things like that. How can you help?
So you're not accessing the full article? I'm a bit...
Yes. Most of the articles, I can't read them. Like, some would come attached with a PDF that I could open and read.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I'm getting less and less of those that I can open, unless they are very old articles, but I need the latest ones.
Okay, all right. So let me use the example that I'm using with the National Research for Life Access. Then we can address your challenge. We'll do that right now. We'll pick a topic. Huh?
Thank you.
All right. So here we are. So this is what I need you to do. Are you seeing this Research for Life access? Your university library has this access. So you go to your library and ask your librarian, ask them you need access to Research for Life. Okay. So what you do, immediately you get in, you log in. Then once you've logged in, you'll see all these 5 options. Go straight to Hinari. Okay. Go to Hinari. Once you're in Hinari, click on databases for discovery. I hope you're following this. It's a good thing this is being recorded. Then you see all this, these are all databases that you can do your research discovery process. But then out of all this is the citation database. The rest are bibliographic databases. Okay, there's Google Scholar, but Dimensions is highly recommended because Google Scholar cleans in everything, gleans everything. But Dimensions goes through the same rigorous process that Web of Science or Scopus would use. So you have Dimensions. Scopus is there as well, but then you'll see Scopus in the platform, but then it doesn't have up-to-date data. Now, you remember how the number of filter options you had in the free one? I want you to see this one. You have more filter options. Okay. You can search by Research Institute. All right. You can search by country as well. Now, Marion, let's search for your topic.
Parent interactions.
Sorry?
Parent interactions is the theme.
Parent interactions. Okay. So that is so we are doing a global search. Then we can go down to the research categories and get better, we refine it further. Parent interactions, are we looking at psychology?
With adolescents, yeah, psychology, yeah.
So psychology, so we have that. So just look at what we've done so far. You have more options to refine and do your research discovery process. So you have parent interactions, psychology, and this is still global. And let's go down to Kenya. All right, because you see, before you did not have that option of refining by country. You had to put it in this search box. So let's refine by Kenya. Let's see what is there. And you have 220 articles. Okay, then you're saying about the latest article. So let's see what you have for 20. There you go. 2021, you have 13 articles just on Kenya alone. The oldest on Kenya on parent psychology, on parent interactions, focusing on psychology, is from 1982. Now, the journal selection strategy. You want to see where have Kenyans published on this topic on parent, where have Kenyans published on this topic on parent interactions in psychology. So source title, this becomes much, much, much easier. So you go to the source title and here they are. Are you seeing it is much more? So these numbers are based on the research area, your research area that Kenyan researchers have published in. Okay, now you are saying your biggest issue was some are not open access. The thing is that is heavily reliant on the publisher. So in this case, all you need to do is say, I only want open access publications. All right. So out of 222, you have 118 publications that are all open access on this topic. Okay, let it open. And you'll notice you only need to do is link to the full article. And you'll have your full text. Okay? You'll have your full text. Oh, okay, so this one doesn't have that. Okay, so let's see. Ah, there we go. Sorry for using that. So here you go. You see this? Because it is open access. There you go. See? You have the PDF. And there you go. Are you seeing the full text? It's opening up anyway. So as it is opening, you clearly can see that you can do your journal selection strategy using this database. Okay. And I was talking about, these are the research areas, but then the source titles. So it gives you all the journals that Kenyan researchers have published on parent interactions focusing on psychology. So these are all the journals, and these papers are the journals, the papers that these journals have accepted. Okay. So you have quite a bit, Marion, that you want to publish in. And the latest paper as well. Oh, it's still opening. All right. So that is
what I'm
that.
hearing you say, sorry to cut you short. What I'm hearing you say is that for me to access this, I need the Research for Life login details, right?
If you are within the University of Nairobi, you're in what university?
I'm from Park University. Yeah.
They have access to it. Your librarian has access to it. Kenya is a Research for Life country. So if you want to enjoy the perks that I'm sharing with you right now,
yes.
Okay, go to the library, they give you the login details, and then get this recording and follow the instructions I've shared with you. Then you'll have access. Otherwise, you can access Dimensions free of charge. I mean, the open version, but you won't be able to refine and do your search as much as possible. Now, I had talked about the citation analysis. This is now where it comes in. Are you seeing this information? First of all, citations. I'm refining by citations. Are you seeing all these analytical views? All this is done through citation analysis. Okay, this is what a bibliographic database cannot do. So you see the bibliographic information is the same. As you can see, it's the title, the keywords, is the abstract, and the authors. That is bibliographic information. The difference is with the citation database, it comes with this. All right, so you can say, I just want to look for the top cited journals or top cited papers. Okay, or I want the papers that the media is talking about the most. So that is altmetric score. So you have the altmetric score right there. It is opening, and then you can see these are all citations that you cannot get in a bibliographic database. So it means that your research discovery process becomes slightly easier. So this one has the highest altmetric score, meaning it has been picked up by over 5 news outlets, it has been blogged twice, it has been tweeted over 160 times. So it depends on, so with a citation database, you're able to do all this information that can help in improving your research discovery process. Any questions? Any questions? Any comments?
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah. So is it clear now? So the thing is, in the case of all of you, what you need to do is please go get in touch with your libraries so that your librarians should be able to give you all this. They should be able to give you your Research for Life login details. Then you can use this then you can have access to Dimensions and use it for effective journal selection strategy. Because you can narrow down by country, you can narrow down by institute. Let me show you even the one by institute. This is even better. Let me show you the one for institute. That is perfect. So still, I hadn't even closed the window. So still on Marion's topic, and let's look at research organizations. So you see, we are focusing on Kenya. So let's see where Maseno, since we have somebody from Maseno, so let's see, Maseno University. There are 31 publications on this topic that they are published in open access. Even let me remove the open access. So let it be everything. It will be more publications, obviously. There are 41 publications. Now, where have they published? Okay. Are you seeing? It becomes a bit more granular. All right. It becomes a bit more granular. So Maseno researchers who've done research on parent interactions and psychology have published their papers in these journals. Are you seeing how this makes it different from just opening it, getting the open version? I hope that has been helpful. Any other question that you may have? Or comments? All right. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope I've been helpful and I've given you an idea on how you can use open access research solutions to do your journal selection strategy, and how you can use bibliographic and citation databases. Though I'm leaning towards citation databases because you can do a much more granular search during your journal selection strategy. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Over to you, Aurelia. Aurelia or David, I'm done with the presentation. Thank you so much.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Oh, I was talking to myself. Okay, so thank you so much, Joy. That was really powerful. Why I like your presentation and TCC Africa is because you take our minds to where the thinking currently is. And that is so beautiful because it means now that the participants, I included, we will now have additional knowledge. We are using tech better in terms of publishing. And I think that is really important because even the idea of preprint, getting ORCID IDs, making sure we have our research for life credentials, I think that is really, really very important. And it will position the participants very differently from others. And I think it will really push us towards publication and visibility. So I think from here now, most of you are in the smaller journal club group where we are working with people who want to publish. We are going to go back and listen again to the presentation. We said we will be meeting every week. So we will go back and people now put to practice what Joy has taught us so that then we can be able to say by the other week, everyone has identified a journal that they can begin to engage with and begin to publish. Also, people can begin now to even send a preprint to AfricArXiv.
Okay, thank you so much. It looks like Aurelia's audio is not working, but with that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much and thanks for the kind words, and we are so excited about our partnership. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you and do have a lovely evening and goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Oh my gosh, I was still not audible, but bye. We will meet in the smaller group.